All right, hello everybody. Welcome to the Packer.Franchise podcast. I'm your host Alex, and today I am proud to announce I'll be joined here today with a special guest, Packers tight end Dominique Dafney. Dominique, would you like to introduce yourself, please? And thank you for coming on the show today.
Appreciate you for having me, man.
Yeah, no problem. And like I said, thank you for taking time out of your day to be joining me today. And you know, before I would like to get started with one thing first. Is your journey. I've actually watched a little bit of, if correct me if I'm wrong, you were a walk on Indiana State, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And because I was watching a little bit before we actually, set this thing up, I just wanted you to talk about your journey and how, you know, what was it like from back then to now as you are, part of a NFL team?
Um. Well, shoot, as you can see, it was definitely a long journey. A lot of ups and downs. Just a lot of gray areas where we didn't know what we were gonna do. I'm speaking as we, as like me and my family, who I talk to them a lot about the whole process. So there was a lot of times where we just didn't know what we were gonna do. As far as like football, like there were even times where I was debating on if it was what I wanted to do at all. If I just wanted to be a regular student back at Iowa, or if I just wanted to keep going and keep fighting. But thankfully, luckily, I chose to just keep working and keep fighting. Made the decision to transfer to Indiana State, and had some success there. But then, of course, I mean, we all know how 2020 went. So that was definitely a setback over that whole summer, starting March, and then just kept working, kept fighting, just kept the dream alive, and now we're here.
Yeah, and that's really awesome because, you know, when I first heard about your story, I'm like, that's really awesome. I've always, liked to hear stories about people always continuing to fight for their dreams and fighting for their passion, because no matter how many times you get knocked down, it's always about getting back up and just, keep working hard and keep grinding and you'll be rewarded. Um, Now, back in, I think, August too, you were with the Colts for a little bit, and I just want to talk a little bit more about after you were released from Indianapolis and during that time from then till the Green Bay Packers called you up. I just want to talk about what that experience was like when you first got a call from, I believe, I don't know if it was Brian Gutekunst that called you or someone that mentioned about, hey, come try out for, the Green Bay Packers, and just want to hear your story about that too.
Uh, I mean, the experience with the Colts was good. It definitely it got I was able to dip my toe in a little bit and just get the feel of what it was like to be on an NFL team, and like what the coaches were expecting, and the tempo, and just the work, and all the extra studying time you have to put in outside of the facility. So that was a great experience, just so I can just be able to grow off of that. I mean, obviously, it was just a little stint, like it was like maybe 2 weeks at most, but I mean, I still learned a lot physically and mentally, so that was definitely great. But then, like when I got sent home, obviously it was uh, obviously like it wasn't great. It sucked. That not great for anybody, but the fact that I was there, it definitely gave me the mentality as to like, okay, now I got my taste. Like I need that now. Like I'm just gonna keep working because I know what it feels like to be at the NFL level, and like I'm just gonna keep working to get back there because like that wasn't enough for me. Like it was just a little taste. Like I needed more. So that was kind of my mentality when I came back. That was my mentality when I got called for all the workouts, as well as when I got called up for the practice squad. Just that mentality where I love doing this. I love being here. So just make sure I stay here.
Yeah, and that's, really awesome too. And, I think around December too is when you were officially activated to the roster. And I just want to talk about your first, your first game with Green Bay. I'm pretty sure it was a cold night. I'm pretty sure it was a snow game against Tennessee. And, I just want to, Hear your thoughts on your first frozen tundra action at Lambeau that night.
First game was first game was against. Sorry, my computer's like I have it in
All
on
right,
now.
good.
My first game was against the Eagles, and it was. All right,
Very good.
But yeah, first game was with the Eagles, and that was that was a great experience. That's definitely something I'll absolutely never forget because I mean it was game one. It was my first game I ever played in on the NFL level, and it was just like obviously we got the win, and it was just a great game all around. Like we were just flying around, and it was a great experience. And then yeah, the Titans game. That game was just the the tempo was great. It was just like the atmosphere was great. It was snow, and obviously like growing up as a kid playing football in the snow. Obviously being from Iowa, that's like something that's just something you dream of. Playing in the NFL in a snow game in Lambeau, like all that kind of is just like a dream. Really, just a dream scenario from a young dude who grew up in the Midwest who's used to snow. So being able to play in that game and we had a really good game. That was a really good game as an offense, and then that was also the game where I got my first catch, and it was also pretty great because on the other side, like I had two other teammates, Amani Hooker and Desmond King, who I was able to play with at Iowa. So just all around, it was a really good game, really good experience. It was just really fun to get that opportunity.
Yeah, and that's awesome. And I think I have 'cause I meant to say your first catch. When you mentioned your first game was with Philadelphia, but from your first catch to your first touchdown against Chicago, obviously very exciting moment. And as I mentioned before we got started with this show, we talked about your quarterback just a little bit. What did Because I remember after the touchdown, Aaron Rodgers came up to you and congratulated you, all that. What was that like having probably one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game, if not the best, to just come up and congratulate you and you know obviously praise you too after that touchdown catch?
I mean, it was pretty awesome. That's just like that type of stuff is just something that instills a lot of confidence in a young player like myself. Obviously, going through a ton of hardships trying to get to that moment. So for him to obviously trust me enough to throw me the ball and the coaches to trust me enough to have me in the position like that, and then just him and other teammates showing praise and just giving me compliments, like it was pretty awesome. It's definitely put confidence into me as a player as well as a person. Just like you have Hall of Fame teammates who believe in you. So I mean, if that's not enough for you to wake up every day and be able to come to work and give everything you got, then like I don't know what else to tell you.
Yeah, and especially young kid, playing like first few seasons in the NFL, and to get like praise like that from players who've been in the league for way too long,
Yeah.
it's just something special and gives you a lot of confidence too, heading down the stretch in your NFL career, or not stretch, but like in the beginning of your NFL career. But I mentioned too before we started, obviously an amazing season, obviously a rough ending, but I do want to say your thoughts overall from you know from when your first game with the Eagles to like now. How would you rate your experience with like your first season with Green Bay?
How did I rate it?
Yeah.
Uh, if I would say it's definitely motivation. Like obviously had some success, but obviously as a whole organization, we all want more. The team players, the fans, the coaches, like we all want more. Like we all we all wanted to be in Tampa this weekend. Obviously, every
Hmm.
team does. That's just it's just motivation. Just to keep going. It's like we're right there. We just maybe need a few pieces. I don't want to speak and say like what we need or what we don't need, but I mean, it's just like we're so close, and just being that close, it's just motivation for us to just keep working and know like we have something good going, and like we just want to keep going. And good teams, like when they're really good, obviously they're going to find a way to make it work, and they're going to find a way to get to the last game. So the fact that we're that close is just motivation to keep going next year and work harder. And I mean, I don't know if we're gonna have OTAs. I'm not really sure how all that's gonna
Hmm.
go, but it's just obviously we're gonna look back all next year. We're gonna look back to how we felt last Sunday or 2 Sundays ago, and we're gonna keep that with us. We're gonna keep that picture in our head. We're gonna keep that feeling with us, and it's gonna motivate us to come out and just work all through camp, all through training camp, and just throughout the season. Just keep that in the back of our heads, as well as just me being a rookie and obviously coming from the situation I did, and the fact I only played in 6, 7 games. That's motivation for me because I want to play in all of them. I want to play in all the games. Obviously, I wasn't here to start the season, but I mean, it is what it is. That's my motivation for next year. Is I want to play in all the games. I want to put myself in a position to be able to play, and not only play but contribute to the team offensively, special teams. Just do my job to make the team just an ounce better.
Hmm. And and I was reading an article too. I think after your like debut at Tennessee and Chicago, because I think like the Packers Wire main article, Matt LaFleur did give you some praise too, along with some teammates like Devontae Adams, which was really cool. Like back to the praising teammates and all that. But I mean, from a fan's standpoint, you are a great player. And in the games, you've played for us, you know, and obviously like the older you get, you know, but you're gonna be a great piece for us, in my opinion.
Say it again. What was
Oh
the
no,
question?
I'm sorry, but I was saying like Matt Lafleur and Devonte Adams. There was like an article back in
Yeah,
like early January. They were just praising you, and
yeah.
which is nice to have.
No, yeah. I mean, it's obviously like those are the guys we looked up to. Obviously, Tay and Aaron Jones and Rogers, and obviously Coach LaFleur. And obviously, Coach LaFleur and I, we have an interesting relationship where, like, when I first got there, he was pretty much just testing me just to make sure that I could do what he was asking me of. Obviously, all the things that I do, sift blocking, being a fullback, and like pretty much just him like, are you sure you can do it? Like, and I'm just like, yeah, like obviously, like I'm here, like I'll do whatever you need me to do. Like, he's like, you think you can stick your nose in? I'm like, yes, of course. Whatever you ask me to do, I'm gonna go out there and do it. He's like, all right, if you say so. And then I would say, hey, believe in me enough to put me out there. And I was like, all right. And he's like, you get your chance, so now's the time. And I'm like, and that's kind of how our relationship's been. Or he's just been pushing me to get better and be better, and just seeing how far I feel like he's trying to see how far he could push me to see how good I could be, as well as just
Hmm.
trying to get the whole, like, my full attributes out there, like being out in the slot and just coming out of fullback and off the on the end line. So I feel like he's just trying to turn me into a all around good player.
Yeah, and that's really amazing too what Coach LaFleur can do, and that bond you have with him and your teammates. And excuse me. But I do want to, you mentioned off season too. I do want to talk about that real quick. Obviously, we're still in a pandemic, and hopefully, one day we can find a way to, beat this virus, and hopefully everything can get back to, normal standpoint soon. But I do want to say, during like off season like this, not sure about TAs. How are you, you know, trying like stay in shape and everything with the virus still going off, going on?
Um, well, I've been just kind of relaxing at home for past. I've only been home for like a week or whatever, but just kind of relaxing, get some light workouts in, just like some mobility type stuff just to get the body back. Obviously, there's still like some soreness from all the practices and games and hitting, of course. So just trying to right now just keep try to get my body back to 100%. So then once summer hits and
Hmm.
once the real thing starts, I can start to build. And obviously, our coaches were telling us like we all deserve a little vacation and
Oh yeah.
some time. So that's what we've been doing. But I mean, like Coach LaFleur said in our last meeting, like regardless of what happens, like as you can tell this season, like next season there will be football no matter how. If there's nobody in the stands, no matter what, like they're gonna find a way for football to be played. So I mean, regardless of a virus or not, like you gotta be ready when the time comes, whenever that is, when we go back to when we're back in Green Bay, getting right for the season. So right now, like I said, just getting the body back right. But once my little rest or whatever is over, it's back to training in the gym and hopefully getting on the field. But it's snowing here in Iowa, so we'll see how that's gonna go.
Yeah. And you know, and like I said too, or you mentioned it. I mean, you do deserve like a little break too, because obviously, from all the practices and the games. Because yeah, I mean, it's a long season. I mean, you put a lot of sacrifice, blood, sweat, and tears in your body, and you deserve a little break, a little vacation. But
Yeah, I mean,
I'll go ahead. Sorry.
I was saying, I was just like, yeah. I mean, I've never played football in January before, so my body's is feeling a little different. It's all brand new to me. So
Yeah, I
just
mean,
getting to soak up a little bit, I guess.
yeah, I mean, especially during those real cold playoff games, I can probably tell
Oh yeah,
some of those hits hurt a little bit.
oh yeah. It's cold out there for sure.
Oh yeah,
Adrenaline can only do so much.
oh yeah, man. Um, I think that's about it. Last thing before we let you go, and I really do appreciate taking time out of your day.
No problem.
But no, you know, like I said, a few games on Green Bay. I mean, you're progressing, you're doing good, and like I said, your story's incredible, and I'm, really happy for you, and I hope, you know, to see you just continue working hard, which you will, and just, you know, getting ready for another Packers off season, and hopefully getting ready for a 2021 NFL season.
Exactly.
But yeah, but no, I think that's all I got. Unless there's anything you want to say real quick before we're done.
Uh, no, I just appreciate you having me. Glad glad I could talk to someone. It's really boring out here.
Yeah, I mean, after like
It's
the
weird because obviously I'm at home. All my friends have jobs or they're at school, and I'm just chilling. And it's not like there's beaches over here. It's a foot of snow, and I can only drive. I can only drive so far.
yeah, and I mean, you know, and I'm kind of like same way too. Is like sometimes like it gets sometimes bored a little bit, but it's always nice
Yeah,
to catch up.
the boredom has struck in. That's for sure. It's only been a week.
Aw. But hey, fall will be here before you know it. OTAs and training camp will be here before you know it, though.
Oh yeah, once March gets around, I feel like definitely gonna get a little happier. It's gonna get a little busier.
Oh yeah. But alrighty, buddy. Hey, I really appreciate you hopping on the show. And like I said, if you want to do this again sometime, you're more than welcome to. Yep. But alrighty, guys. Hope everyone has a great day and go Pack Go.